Hi, this is AJ Cataldo, and I've done a few publications on marijuana stocks on Seeking Alpha, and I get a few requests to tell people my thoughts on the sector or segment of the economy. It is growing. And so I decided to go ahead and put together a tiny little PowerPoint slide. I am out of the sector for now, and I would stay out probably until about late December. That's just my opinion. This sector tends to overreact. It's in its infancy, and it's overreacting to event dates. So you could look at the run-up in the sector, the marijuana or cannabis sector or segment of the economy, from about mid-August through Canadian legalization, which occurred on October 17th. Keep in mind, we're looking, people are overreacting in a positive fashion because that they believe that sector or segment of the economy is expanding, and of course it is. So when Canada went legal for recreational, keep in mind Canada is roughly 10% of the US population. So folks were excited. They were excited about market expansion. It's really no different from General Motors stock going up if Ford Motor Company were to go bankrupt and be liquidated. The presumption would be that General Motors is going to get a bigger chunk of the market. It's different here because this is a segment or sector of the economy that is in its infancy. That's the difference. Now, Michigan, we had elections in early November here in the US, and that's about 3% of the US population. Let's look at the chart. I'm going to pick an ETF that I like, Horizons Marijuana Life Sciences Index ETF. And this is, I use the maximum feature. This is from Seeking Alpha. And I want you to notice a couple things. First of all, notice in January 2018, there was a spike. That is from November tax loss selling or tax loss harvesting, the Santa Claus rally, and the January effect. They occur in very rapid sequence. That's a common theme in some of the articles I write for Seeking Alpha. These are referred to as seasonal anomalies. They're not really anomalous, but these are seasonal patterns or trends. Now, they're not going to affect the Dow or the big cap stocks because those stocks trade in an efficient market. Marijuana sector or cannabis sector of the economy is not yet trading in an efficient market because that sector or segment of the economy is in its infancy. It's in its early growth stage from a marketing perspective. Look what happened with this ETF starting around August. Look at the run-up in the chart. Again, this is an exchange-traded fund. Look at the run-up into the Canadian elections. Okay, the market expanded when Canada went legal for recreational. And what happened afterwards? There was a sell-off. And that tends to happen, or has been happening in even number years around early November with US elections when states put these measures on their ballots. So, buy on rumor, sell on news, if you want to think of it that way. If you want to, you can go to this link. You can see some of my Seeking Alpha articles. This is from a book I wrote, and it got really horrible reviews. I guess it was a book showing a pattern, and I want you to notice this is a prediction where I have not removed weekends, non-trading days. I was looking at 231 marijuana stocks at the time. Take a look at January, the January spike. And what I'm looking at here are 52-week highs. So I looked up the 52-week high for 231 marijuana stocks at that point in time. That was my portfolio. Look at the cluster of the new 52-week highs. This is 2016, running up into the November 2016 elections, where states had ballot measures legalizing marijuana for recreational purposes. Again, that's an expansion of the market. So pretty much what I'm trying to do here is reduce the risk of error or minimize the entry point cost for this sector or segment of the economy. For the passive investor, I would just stick with the exchange-traded fund. I would stay away from specific stocks. Although, if you hit the lottery and you get it right, you might make 50 times your money on a specific stock if you hit the right one. So once again, November 2016 U.S. elections. Look at the new 52-week highs, see how they're clustered. So in my book, I was basically predicting this would happen again in 2018, not because of Canadian legalization, but because of U.S. elections. But the Canadian elections of October 17th, I'm sorry, the Canadian legalization for recreational purposes just happened uh, to occur prior to Michigan legalizing for recreational this month. So, what's my strategy? It's almost always the same strategy if you're dealing in an inefficient market or with penny stocks. Again, marijuana or cannabis sector is an early growth stage market or sector or segment of the economy. To get in at the lowest possible entry point, buy around December 23rd, I would say, right after tax loss selling, tax loss harvesting. You're going to identify stocks that no one is interested, they're on life support, they're about to be unplugged, and then lo and behold, they come out of their coma. So you're looking for a Santa Claus rally January effect sequence that follows December 25th. Will it work? I don't know, but it has so far. And history has been repeating. I recommend you give this a little bit of thought to this, especially when deciding at what point in time, on what event date you want to enter this particular segment or sector of the economy. Thank you.